Okay, Kelim Perek Yud Aleph, Mishnah Beis, we're talking about metal Kelim. All right. So it says, Kol Kli Matka Sheyesh Lo Shem B'fnei Atzmai Tomei. Any Kli Matkas that has a Shem B'fnei Atzmai, it's a shame dover, as they say. It's a shame dover. Right? Like a spoon or a fork, then it could become Tomei. Right? Meaning it's not obviously a spoon and a fork could become tummy. That's not what we're talking. We're talking about where it's part of something else. Meaning, let's say like a menorah. So I don't know. Is there a name for one branch of a menorah if it becomes detached? I'm assuming not. Right. So, so memela, if it has its own name once it's broken off, then it's its own. Then it becomes tummy. All right, and this is talking about pshute kli matras, like we discussed yesterday. If it's a kli matras that has a utensil part of it, has a kli kibel, then avada, that's tummy. We're talking about a flat piece of metal, right? And when it's detached from whatever it's attached to, it has its own name, then it becomes tummy. Otherwise, not. Chutz min adelas, except if it's a door, umin neger, or it's a blocker from a door, meaning the thing that makes the door not move. Umin from a lock, paisa shetachas atzir, and there's a socket that's under the tzir is the what's it called? What the door swings on, hinges, like the hinges, yeah. Right. Same, but I think then they didn't have hinges. They had like I know I'm starting up with your Geschäft, but saying they had it swung like on a pole, like a
spindle,
like a spin, like a pivot, yeah, maybe like a spindle, yeah, like through the door.
Oh, a pivot. Oh, you mean like pivot? There's such a thing as pivot hinges. Like all the fancy glass doors and shuls have pivot hinges.
Oh, so yeah, so something like that. Either way, it's any door accessory basically. The hatzir, and the tzir is the actual pivot. The koira and the beam of a house. The hakzinor and a pipe. Shanasu lakarka that you put into the ground, right? Then all these things cannot become tummy. Why? Because they're mechuber lakarka. Right? And since they're mechuber lakarka, then we know anything attached to the ground as anything attached to the ground cannot become tummy. Okay, Mishnah Gimel. Haisa Kelim, if somebody who makes Kelim, mina eshes, right? Iron, it's like some sort of iron, umina charara, and from pieces of metal, raw, I think like pieces of metal before they were processed, meaning before they were broken up. Umina soiviv shel gago, and from the soiviv of a wheel, it's like a rim, some sort of rim of a wheel. Umina tasin, a tasin is a flat sheet of metal. Umina tzipuyin, and metal plating. Mikane kalim, from metal bases of kalim. Ume ogne kalim, and from metal rims of kalim. Me ozne kalim, from the handles, that literally means the ears of kalim. Minashchoilas, from junk metal. Umen hagru dois, and from that's like also scrap metal that they use to fill in other, like to finish pieces of metal, I guess, that are missing metal. So tahirin, these are all tar. Meaning, even though they're coming, a lot of these pieces of metal can be coming off of other metal kalim that are tame. So we're not choshev for that. We're not choshev they came from a tame kli. Rather, we learned in the first Mishnah that if the kli gets broken, it loses its tumah status, but you put it back together again, then it gets back its tumah status. All right?
Are we saying we put it back together on the original kli, or we put it on a different kli? or made it into a different kli?
No, I think it's talking about when it's independent, when it's not attached to the kli anymore, I think.
Yeah, so then for sure it should be tahar, right?
Right, but maybe it came off of a clay tummy, and then when you reattach it to something, it'll become tummy. So we're saying we're not choshev for that.
That's what I'm asking. Okay,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
good.
yeah. Rabbi Yochanan ben Uri Omer, af min haketzutzos, even from cut up pieces. Right. So he holds that even pieces, because he made there's a gzer d'Rabbanan, meaning, but before the gzer d'Rabbanan, somebody had a metal kli is going to want to be matired by just breaking it, right, and then fix it up. So what do? You make a hole in it. So, but maybe they're going to think you only made a little hole, which is not enough to make the kli ruined, right? But when a tame kli gets broken into a bunch of pieces, then the chacham didn't make their gezerah, right? So that's what he's saying. So even so, broken pieces, then there's no tumah yishana. B'shivrei kelim, but from broken kelim, min hagrutim, from pieces, min ha-masmaros sheyadua shenasem kelim, or from nails that it's known that they come from kelim, tmei, and they are tamei. Min ha-masmaros, if they come from, but if it's nails, and we don't know if what the nails were made out of, so Beishami betamin, Beishami says tamei, Beisil matar, and Beisil says it's tar. Why? Because it's sex faker. Because maybe it was made from the type of metal that's not makabel tuma, right? And the second is, and even if it was made from metal that can become makabel tuma, maybe the kli was never tame, right? Yeah. Okay, good. Mishnah Dalid, one more. Barzel tame shabalala in barzel tar. So let's say you have a hybrid. Is it hybrid? I don't know. Multiple metals, right? So barzel tame shabalala and barzel tar. You mixed it in the type of metal that becomes tar, and it got mixed in with barzelet's tar. So tame with tar. Im roiv minat tame. So if the roiv of the metal is the tame type, so then it's tame. If im roiv minat tar, it's tar. Mechzel it's 50-50. Tame, it's tame. Michain, and also min hachalama u min haglalim. Same thing from if you make a kli, earthenware kli that was made from chalama, that's some sort of clay, together with glalim. Glalim is dung, and you mixed it together and you cooked it. So if most of it is dung, so then it's not going to become tummy, and if not, then it will. Clustera is a knob, right? That we're worried, like a door stopper knob that we said in the previous Mishnah, right? So a clustera, we don't know where it came from. Could be it came from a tamei kli. So tmeya, that's tamei. Umitsupa, and if it's plated, then tahira, it's tar. And meaning, because only the plating is tamei, not what's under the plating. So memela, we're gonna go with what the ikar is. A pin, vapurna, tmeim. A pin and a bolt that are made from tamei kelim are tamei. All right. Because it's considered two separate kelim. The cloistera, going back to the cloistera that we just talked about, the knob. So review, and it's connected with this is now we're getting into muksa on Shabbos. You have this knob thing, and it's connected with a wire or a string or whatever to the door. So you're allowed to take it from one door and put it on another door. But you have to do shaimta. You have to like slip it out because otherwise it's muksa. It's meaning because he doesn't look at it like it's a kli. So in Mela, it's muksa, so you have to do tiltum and atzad. You have to take it not direct. But Reb Tarfon says, "Are he like kechala kelim? It's like all kelim or metaltalim, metaltelis b'chotzer, and you're allowed to take it around the chotzer because any kli that you need on Shabbos is considered is considered not muksa if you have a tzarech. And then this would translate into tumah also. Rabbi Yeshua, who says you're not allowed to move it normally, says it's not going to become tummy because it's not really a kli. And Reb Tarfon is who says it can be moved on because he holds that it is a kli. Okay, so that's let's do some Rambam. Okay, Perek Gimel. Yeah, so this is Perek Gimel's Perek Gimel Gimel. It's a very fascinating Rambam here. And we have to be careful with this because a lot of times we regret doing mitzvahs, right? Meaning, komi shenicham ala mitzvah sha'asa. Somebody who he changes his mind on mitzvahs that he already did. V'toha ala schuyas. And he's wondering about the schuyas, meaning he regrets, he doesn't care. V'amar b'liboy, and he says in his heart, Umaha alti b'siyasam. What is it? What did it help me? What did it help me by doing this? Right? So that fellow lost the place. Well, halavai lo yasisi, he says that halavai, I didn't do this mitzvah. Hareza ibed as kulan. That means he lost it all. Ve'ein maskirin loy shum, and we don't mention it for him at all. Shum schus ba'olam shenemar v'tzidkas atzadik lo satzilenu b'yom rishon. The tzidkas of a tzaddik are not going to save him on the day of his bed. That's only talking about somebody who's regretting his original mitzvah. So kashem she'shayklin schuyas adam v'avanosa b'shas misasai. The same way.
Is this talking about one specific mitzvah or all your mitzvahs?
No, any mitzvah that you regret doing.
I'm saying one mitzvah. If I did a mitzvah and then I shouldn't have done it.
Let's say you went to the Vart tonight and you regretted going.
No, but let's say I did a chesed for somebody. I said I'm going to drive somebody, and then I say, oh, I shouldn't have done it. It took too much time.
So I'm not sure if that's what he means. I'm not sure. Right? Because there you're not regretting doing the mitzvah. You just had better what to do with yourself.
Or I didn't have better what to do with myself, but I didn't want to be drunk.
Right, didn't have better.
I wasn't really going to do anything better, but I didn't want to do that. That was annoying.
I say I'm not sure because I have this issue every single day. Right? I'm saying people, oh, can I talk to you? Yeah. Okay. Call me this and this time. Fine. And then it's about some narishkeit. Right? So now I say I shouldn't have let them call. Right? So is that called a regret?
You're them calling you as a mitzvah?
I hope so, because otherwise I'm really up the creek.
Okay, so
You don't have too much time left to do mitzvahs then.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. That's what we were discussing the other day in the morning. Was it in the morning when we were discussing Rabbanu? Yeah, it was in the morning. Is it learning when you're building an Erev? Is that called learning Torah? Right? When you're doing these type of things, is that Torah? I don't know. Anyway, so I'm not so sure what's called regretting. Meaning, if you're regretting it because you think you could have done better mitzvahs with your time, I don't know if that's considered regret. Maybe it is. Right? So
What if?
what's a better mitzvah?
Sometimes the
Eating
collector
a
comes
pizza,
around.
you could have made a geshmaka bracha.
that's right. I could have said
On a
3
geshmaka
brachas.
pizza.
So maybe that
Sometimes,
is more important than making that geshmaka bracha.
And a chanami. So that's a good question.
It's having regret.
what if a guy comes around for tzedakah? And you look, and after you gave him $1, you look at him and you say, I don't know if I did the right thing. This guy looks like he's in business for himself. Whatever. That's a real regret, no?
Yeah, l'chara. Yeah, if you regret giving it to well, it depends. You regretting giving it bichlal, or you think you could have allocated it to a better place?
you don't think that he was deserving of the tzedakah you gave him. The guy should have gotten the job, whatever. It's whatever you think.
No, but see, yeah, but if you regret giving the tzedakah totally, then for sure that's what the Rambam's talking about. But
Okay.
I'm not so sure it applies if you're saying like, oh, I could have done much better with my tzedakah than give it to him.
Right.
So is that
You're
called?
not regretting giving the tzedakah. You're just regretting who you gave it to.
Right.
Right.
So that's, I'm not sure.
This morning Henoch, I heard by the 6 o'clock, I heard May is shofar, right? So see, like one guy who I don't like him anyway. Not that I've ever had anything to do with him. I just don't like him. So
That means
he's
if you don't have anything to do with him, and then you don't, that means that you do like him because you don't want him to have to do with you. Whatever. I'm just kidding. Yeah, go ahead.
So he came over to me while I was listening to the shofar, and he said no, something like that. So I regretted not punching him in the face or telling him to shut up after the shofar was over. So
Okay,
I
so
don't
that's
think that counts.
He did a
It's not a
mitzvah.
mitzvah.
what?
Where's the mitzvah?
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
Where's the mitzvah there? Where's
I don't know,
regretting?
I was just saying something that
No,
happened.
then he
this
did a
morning.
mitzvah. It's Kaivish as Yisro. He did a big mitzvah.
Yeah, but he might regret. He's regretting Kaivish's Yitzra.
Right,
And he really,
exactly.
I don't know. I don't know how that works, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Either way, don't regret your mitzvahs. That's the bottom line. All right. So you say Kashem Sheshoikon Schuyas Adam Vavoinosa B'Shas Misas. Like the same way, the Schuyas and the Avoinos get weighed by the time of death. Kach B'Chol Shana V'Shana Shoiklin Avoinos Kol Echad V'Echad Mibai Olam Im Schuyosov. Every year, see here it says any boy. It says Boy Olam, right? Anybody in the world, everybody in the world is getting judged on Rosh Hashanah. Yeah, beyond Rosh Hashanah. Mishanim to tzaddik nechtam l'chaim. If you're a tzaddik, you get sealed for life. Mishanim to Rasha nechtam l'misa. Abeinani toilanos ad yom kippurim emas tshuva nechtam l'chaim v'imlav nechtam l'misa. As we know. Yeah. Okay, and we should all be zoichet to be nechtam l'chaim, including the soldiers Nebuch that were nifted today. I mean, not including, but no more. Yeah, they should have a lichtige Gan Eden and then Neshama should have an Aliyah.
6 soldiers.
Yeah, it's a rough day today.